All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the series. Can your energy field actually block the blue light from coming in? And the reason why I wanted to create this series because someone was really curious about when this flash of light, this flash of high level of consciousness, this tsunami wave of blue light, when it comes in, how is it going to impact our physical body? So I want to be really clear. The light is not creating these aches and pains in our body. The light is coming in to try to raise the frequency and create a light body, but you can have these really stubborn areas of blocked energy in the body. And why am I describing it in several videos of the different ways that this rising in frequency might show up as aches or pains in your body? Because I just want you to know that, yeah, there's nothing wrong with you. That's what I want you to know. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not going to be left behind because it doesn't feel good to you. Because that's a huge myth. That's a huge misconception that says, other people are going to breeze through these changes and some of you are not. Well, that can be true or not true, but the bottom line is, I think it's kind of a good sign. If the aches and pains are coming up, or the discomfort or the nausea, the headaches, I think it's a good sign because it means that you've raised the frequency high enough in your energy field that you're noticing where all the sore spots are, right? Because sometimes you don't even know they're there until the frequency rises. So in this particular one, I'm going to be talking about lower back pain. That lower back, like right. Do you like the sounds? Oh my God, that hurts. That tension that you can hold right there in the lower part in the arch of your back, just above the tailbone area. And so there's that curved area in the back. That's where you block your emotional block can show up. What did I want to say? Oh, your emotional, sexual, creative, male, female, any blocks to expressing the fullness of who you are, anything that blocks you from fully being a spiritual being first, having a human experience. And so we are emotional beings, and we're living on this earth during a time that's highly emotional. But you can be disassociated, you can be locked down, you could be apathetic, where it's like there's so much stress in the world that I just have had to numb out and stop feeling it. Well, eventually it's going to come out in your lower back. But here's a thing that you may not know. So the lower back is in back of the second chakra, which is, I'll just say, in a nutshell, that emotional chakra. But the other thing in the lower part of the back is where there's a lot of nerves that come off the spinal column. And so when you're having this surge of blue light, a flash of light that's coming in, it really supercharges the nervous system and can really activate those nerves, especially if the currents of the nerve currents can't come all the way down. It's going to get blocked right there in the back. And wow, can it really hurt? Can it really be sore? Can really start to pull those muscles, really help you, not help, causes you to feel really uncomfortable. And so for some of you, you have shared that you just cry and cry and cry, and you just can't stop crying, or you get really emotional, at Hallmark commercials, like the other day, I saw a homeless person and had his little dog, and it was just like, ooh, there was just this rush of emotion came up in seeing them. And so, but like often people think if they cry a lot that their second chakra is not blocked, but that's not true. It can be stuck in the on position. So if you think of your emotions as having an off or on switch, it can get stuck in the on position to where you're just crying all the time, or you feel, sexually activated all the time, or you feel like you just have to do everything creative and you can't hardly do anything else. Or that switch can be completely flipped off where, sorry, I'm just looking at my microphone, where it can be switched off where you feel detached, or you'll say, I don't care what's going on in the world. Doesn't bother me. It's not affecting my life. So it can be bothering you a lot more than you realize, but your emotional switch is off. So you can have an energy block that causes it to stick on, or an energy block that causes it to stick off. So back to that question, can your energy field block the blue light from coming in? Yeah, temporarily it can. If it's really inflamed, it's showing up in your lower back, there's a lot that your spirit, we think of our body as being emotional. We think of our body as being sexual. We think of our body, or not sexual, we think of our body as being creative, or, whatever. It's your spirit that uses those channels to express through your life. But most people have disconnected from the spiritual aspect of just how beautiful your emotions are. And this is where that joy, when you can marry marry your spirit, if your spirit can come all the way down into the lower sacral area of your body, this is where you can get in touch with that joy. You can get in touch with that bliss. You can get in touch with the beauty. You can get in touch with just how alive life feels. Because I know all of you can relate to this. If you feel detached from your emotions, life kind of feels dead, doesn't it? It feels like, whatever, like nothing excites me, uninterested, unmotivated, uninspired. Well, when your spirit comes down and that blue light comes down, and I'm loving it because I'm talking about this and I can just feel my second chakra is just like, yep, that's me. When that blue light can come all the way down in the sacral chakra, all of a sudden, all systems are go. It's like, whoa, I didn't know I could feel this alive. And this is what we're looking forward to with the shifts and changes with these high frequencies, this elixir of beauty and plasma that's coming in, that will continue to come in waves over the next several years. So as the blue light comes in, old emotional pain, sexual pain, creative blocks, because you're taught that, you need to be a scientist or a doctor, like you need to overanalyze, you need to be academia, being creative is not going to get you anywhere. Like if you've had a lot of that programming, that can get blocked, and it will show up in the lower back pain as lower back pain. It means that there's a block there, and it's feeling the light come in, that higher frequency, and it's just locking down even more. So when that blue light can come in, you do become alive. You will find yourself gravitating towards wanting to do a creative project. You may, hopefully start to feel more kind of sexually alive again, more vibrant, wanting to make those more intimate connections with other people. Your emotions get cleaned up. Do you know what I mean by clean emotions and dirty emotions? Well, clean emotions just mean that however you're feeling, it's crystal clear. You're not attached and you're not projecting. You're not merging. You're just this beautifully expressive emotional being, and that you love expressing all of your emotions and you don't have judgments about your emotions. Dirty emotions are like, critical, hateful, resentful, triggering, that kind of stuff. So as the blue light comes in, everything's going to become more clean and clear with how you express yourself. So what are some action steps that you can take? Trying to be more kind of hyper aware of what you are emotionally feeling and what your body might want to express. So what I'm always teaching my students is allow the emotion to flow up and out the top of the head. I'm teaching you a secret tip. Don't let it get stuck in the solar plexus. Don't let it get stuck in the heart. Don't let it get stuck in the throat. Don't let it overanalyze your emotion by getting stuck in the brain. It's like let it flow like a fountain. It's just coming up and out the top of the head, because you're going to be shocked at how the emotion changes when it blends with your spiritual chakra. You're just going to be so pleasantly surprised. All right. And I think I've already talked about, the emotional and the sexual and creative. And then there's the male and the female. And we really are, all that's coming into balance and harmony. So let's say yin and yang, or in South Africa, it's Ndiki and Tao. So red or male energy is more known as action, female's more receptive. So you can be on a highly receptive mode, but you can't get off the couch to do anything about it. Or you can be busy, 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 and you never stop to be receptive and receive the life that you've worked so hard to create. Whew. So, action steps: massage, exercise. See, these lower chakras are very physical. They love to physically express. Definitely, journal about your emotions, about your feelings. Let yourself start to build more intimate relationships. Allow other people to connect intimately with you. When you meditate, run some energy through that particular chakra. Express your emotions up out the top of your head. Of course, Qigong, getting out in nature. Holy smokes. Nature is one pure, robust flow of creativity. So you just go sit by a tree and it just helps drain off some of those old blocks. But no worries, because the blue light is going to dissolve all of it. You're not stuck with all that stuckness your whole life. But if you want to start to get ahead on it and be able to help manage it when you're rising in frequency, those are some steps that you can take. Yeah, I just asked Spirit, is there anything else? And Spirit's like, let other people have their emotions. Don't try to manage their emotions. Don't try to say, I don't know why you're feeling like that. It's like, let them have their emotions. You have your emotions, clean and clear. End of story. All right, everyone. So I cannot wait to experience life as we go through these uplifting changes. So join me as I really get into another one that I know is going to speak to you all, is hip pain. Hip pain when you are rising in frequency. All right, I look forward to seeing you in the next segment of series video number 8. Take care and let those emotions really flow. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.